Welcome down, everyone, to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Woo!
Yeah.
New guest. Or, well, another guest. Same
No,
guest?
he's not
Same
new.
guest again. I'll get it right. Don't worry about it. This
I'm
will
back.
It'll sound really clean in the edit.
I was in a previous episode.
Indeed. We're welcoming our good friend Nick Brady back from the Zelda episode, if you recall. He's going to help us talk about My Hero Academia.
Yeah. We're going to go plus ultra on this episode.
Plus ultra.
Turusu Ultra.
Yes. Before we get into that, we have a special thing for all of our listeners out there.
We do.
Yeah, we do. This is fresh. I haven't told Eddie or Nick this, but
Fresh off the press.
so I have a special gift for any listeners who managed to tweet in with the correct amount of minutes that Eddie was late to our current podcast, to this session. So anybody who can give a good guess as to how late Eddie was to getting to our podcast session today, you'll get a special gift from me. All right?
You know, not like I had to postpone the podcast multiple days in a row.
Yes.
Sir.
It's very true. No, Eddie has been more than accommodating to me not having any idea
Also,
what to do
I could
with
have been
my schedule.
messaged easily on a platform that I am currently
I
on.
texted you twice. I texted Eddie twice while waiting for him to show up on our Discord. And then later on realized that he's appears in my friend group of who's online. And I just messaged him on via Discord, and he responded immediately. And I was like, "What are you doing with your life?"
It's almost as if I don't need my phone on me at the moment.
So, okay, quick question. So how are they going to know who won? Are you going to announce that next episode, or are you going to
definitely. Well, no,
do it through Twitter?
Through Twitter, I'll give them I'll send them a. Well, you can direct message people on Twitter, right? I'll send you a direct message. That'll be a great picture of me giving you the thumbs up. That'll be your special prize.
And then he'll send it to you framed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes.
Signed.
Framed and signed. But yeah, that'll be your gift. So tweet at us out, listeners, at TNYKPod.
Well, that's fun.
But yeah, with that, let's get into today's topic. We're talking about the first half of Season 3 of My Hero Academia.
Boku no Hero Academia.
Yes, Boku no Hero Academia.
My Hero Aka.
Yes, all the different things that it's called. We're talking about that this week, bearing in mind that Eddie and Nick have seen the anime and keep up with the anime. I have seen maybe an episode or two, but I read the manga, so I'm more than caught up with where we're at right now. This was just going to be a recap of all of Season 3, but then Eddie and I realized that Season 3 wasn't over yet, and we were like, oh, well, halfway is good enough.
Yeah, you guys are silly. Come on.
But yeah, so I think we've gone through a good enough arc to be able to talk about what's going down, what's happened thus far, and where all of our favorite characters are. I really loved talking about this manga and anime back when we did so before, so I'm happy to be back talking about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. A lot happened. A lot has happened this season.
Indeed. Eddie, you want to set us up? Where are we at? Where is this
right now,
anime
currently?
begin with? Where does it begin with? Where do we start off in Season 3? That's right, a filler episode. I'm sorry, continue.
It was. We are just going through the partnership kind of thing at the moment. We ended last season with everybody did their
their internship thing? Is that what that ended?
The internship.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. And now they are doing their summer camp thing.
Yeah.
So
everybody's been shipped off to summer camp.
Yay!
But what do we do at a summer camp for superheroes, Eddie?
We play with mud.
And they are doing special training stuff to achieve their first license.
Yes.
Or something.
And they're also training to become stronger,
right?
Because at the beginning, like the first couple episodes or something, Eraserhead, I can't think of his actual name, but
Izawa.
Yeah, Izawa. He has Bakuno, try throwing the ball, the exploding.
Bakugo.
Yeah, Bakugo. Him
Bakugo,
throwing the ball again to see if he's gained any
improved.
power or anything, see if he's improved.
Which was the first thing they did whenever they were at school, the first strength test or work test or whatever.
And then he'd Bakugo. He was like, yeah, I got this. It's going to be even farther.
Of course I've improved.
Yeah. But then find out that no, he has improved. It's like, it was either the exact same or like maybe 1 or 2 like meters more.
Yeah,
you know,
nothing
not really
major.
thing. And so they just that just shows that like because you can use him as an example because you can tell that he's like throughout the previous seasons he's like he's been doing a lot with his quirk.
Yeah.
And so if anyone would approve, it might be him.
Yeah, probably should have been.
Yeah. And so yeah, that training camp is to get them ready to get their like superhero.
It's like their
Disney
driver's
thing.
license.
Yeah. Like a almost like a learner's permit. Or like,
Yeah, and to also just like increase their power to make them stronger, actually stronger.
Right. The way they talk about it is like up till now they've been improving their way of thinking, their way of their teamwork and different strategies and fighting and things of that nature, but they haven't actually been legitimately improving their quirks. And so the summer camp is for the sole purpose of making their quirks better, taking people who like who have like upper limits like Kaminari and Tape Guy, and being like, just shoot your tape as fast as you can, as far as you can, get it, reach your outer limit, and then stretch it. We're trying to get your quirk to just level up, essentially. We want you to use it as much as you can so that you get used to its limits and then push those limits. We're trying to plus ultra your quirks.
Which I don't remember if they've actually said this in the anime, but is his tape, is it biodegradable, or is it just going to be like a pile of tape just at the bottom of that cliff?
No idea. I do not know.
I don't remember. I do remember like towards the beginning of the entire series when they're like introducing everyone, they're like, and he can spray his tape this far, and it's blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Like there is somewhere there's a character sheet with him that'll explain some of that, but I don't remember. Do you remember that, Eddie?
I do not.
Yeah.
I'm not very interested in that character.
He's a very obscure character. Yes.
Yeah. I just think it'd be funny, just like if it's not biodegradable and there's just a pile, just a huge pile of just tape just at the bottom of the cliff.
Just like it's because like I don't know how much of it you've seen in the anime because I'm drawing a blank as to where this is, but like he gets pretty good with his tape and like he can use it. I think at some point he uses it almost like Spider-Man, where he can like kind of like zip around with it. And I'm just thinking, like, Spider-Man's webs eventually dissolve in water, so like that's how they explain that away as to why like New York wouldn't just be covered in webs by the end of his day. So I'm just wondering if there is any similar explanation for that guy.
But at this camp, there isn't just Class 1A. There's also 1B there. Mm-hmm. It's Class 1B, right? Not 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1B.
Yeah, it's 1B. It's 1B.
Yeah, 1B. So, those two classes are there, and they're training. They'll try and get better. But the League of Villains Action Vanguard, you know, they kind of come in and say hello.
Yep.
Kind of.
Like, as things do in this anime, we get the group together to do some fun activity, and then everything goes to crap because a group of villains shows up.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
This is I love this little tiny arc, the summer camp arc, just because one of the things I love in anime is when we set up a premise wherein there can be tons of different cool characters with different abilities. One of my favorite parts of Naruto was the Shunin exams. I loved seeing all the different kids from the Leaf Village, including all the different kids from other villages, come in and fight and show off their abilities. I love that so much. Super freaking cool. I love that kind of stuff in tournament anime, like in Yu Yu Hakusho and things like that, when we find different characters and things. And that's this creator does that so well, and he shows off new characters so well, and I love just seeing more of Class B. Because up till now we've only gotten like some glimpses of them because they were in the sports tournament.
Yeah.
But like we get to really see them do some fun stuff in this, and I love it. Tetsu is so great.
Yeah. So they come in, and they are there essentially to basically still Bakugo.
Yes.
Yeah, really, like that. That's their main goal, correct?
Primary objective, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, which is it's cool because I mean, spoiler alert, but I like this arc because it's a demonstration of when the villains actually do win, like they complete their objective. And that was just really cool and fun to watch, and it's making me think of some things that. So after this, just a little heads up for anybody who wants to listen further. In the things you should be nerding out to section of this, I'm going to talk a little bit about Voltron and how much I love the villain in that series right now. So, anyways, but I just whatever, Eddie.
So, who are the villains in the Vanguard?
Yeah, let's go through that. I don't know any of their names. I don't think.
Okay, there's the fire guy.
You got scarred up. Yeah, is it fire? Is it smoke?
It's a fire.
Like
it's a blue flame.
Okay, cool. Because there's
but
no
that's
color
not
in the
his
manga.
quirk. He's just able to produce that somehow. I don't think that's ever been defined yet, but that's not his specific quirk, and that they made a note about that in the anime.
Stuff.
But he can melt or something. He can transport himself elsewhere.
That's right. Okay.
No,
but I don't
wasn't
know
that...
how he makes the blue fire.
No,
I thought that was the copy guy.
Yeah, what was that? The copy guy, I believe. Because there's a copy guy. His name is Twice, I think. He's basically the Deadpool person in the team. And his ability is he can make other copies of himself, not of himself, not just of himself, but of other people.
Yeah.
Okay. And he has a measuring tape, so he can measure people up, and so he can make copies of them. Fun thing I learned about him is he's kind of crazy. He has a split personality because. The reason why he has a split personality is because he's made copies of himself, and he's made so many copies of himself, he doesn't know if he is the original or if he's the copy.
Right.
Because he's also killed himself many times. Yeah. And so he's I don't know what it is.
Pulling up Prestige.
Yeah. So
spoiler alert, I guess if you haven't seen that movie.
There's that. And then there's a lizard person named
Truth. Yeah, there's a fun little manga.
Yeah, and
That's
his
a Final Fantasy joke.
and he is his power kind of like Sue, she's a frog and he's just a lizard.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got the qualities of a lizard.
There's various types like that.
Yeah,
that literally your quirk is you're just less human. You're just an animal-like person.
Yeah. And then there's a person whose ability is compress. I don't know his name. Again, I don't know most of these people's names, but I know their quirks and what they do.
Oh, the guy who turns people into that little
marbles
pellet. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's him. He's pretty cool. He's like a magician. He's very I don't want to say flamboyant, but he's haha, let's put on a show.
All about the presentation.
He's very showman-like.
Yeah.
There's the crazy girl.
Yeah. What is her power? Because I know it deals with blood, but I don't know what.
I don't remember exactly. I think there are hints at it in that thing. I don't know how much she shows up later on, to be honest, because I don't know if she shows up much in the fight between the fights or the things leading up to All for One and All Might actually fighting.
No,
I think she's only in this.
Yeah.
And so I still don't know exactly what she does.
Okay. So even in the manga, she hasn't popped up yet. Back.
Not as far as I have read.
Okay.
Perhaps in volume 13.
Okay. So her thing, I have no idea what her ability is, but she just plays with knives and she's let me get some of your blood or something. And she's also crazy and loves Deku for some reason.
Because she's crazy little sociopath girl.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she has an ability to maybe possibly copy quirks of people that she has samples of. I'm not entirely sure.
But isn't that what All for One does?
Maybe.
I don't see why they would give her the big boss quirk,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but it could it might not be a permanent thing. It could be a very short short-term thing.
Well, she was definitely collecting blood. Like she
Right.
needed
Yeah.
Collecting it for some
she
reason.
needed enough for something, but
Right.
it was never explicitly stated. So
And then there's a person who does like magnetism, where he like can make someone be like magnetized, and when males are positive and women are female, or like negative.
Oh, I recall this kind of
stuff.
I don't remember much about that one.
So there's him, Fire Dude twice, and then Muscular.
Yeah, the muscle guy.
Yeah, the muscle dude.
What a gross.
I'm not
quote.
sure if there's any. I think that's it. I think that's all in the Vanguard.
there was also the gas person.
Oh, right.
Gas
That's
person.
right.
There's also Valdo from Soul Calibur. He's the tooth guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, I keep forgetting about those guys.
That's a Soul Calibur joke. Yeah.
Yeah, like the tooth guy was definitely creepy. Like one of
Yeah.
the creepier ones.
Super creepy, and if you don't know who Valdo is, just Google him, and you'll know why I mentioned him. Yeah.
If you've seen My Hero.
Yeah.
So, one battle that takes place I want to bring up really quick is between Muscular and
Our boy Deku.
our boy Deku. That was pretty crazy. Just because, okay, so Muscular, his ability is basically he takes his... he can make his muscles form around him and make them like expand and become bigger and stronger.
He can multiply his muscles outside of his skin, which is just gross.
Yeah, and so...
Does it look gross in the anime? It doesn't really look very gross in the manga.
Yeah, no, it's not very graphic. It's just like you can
Okay.
see the sinew
Cool.
in the muscle,
Yeah.
Fun.
and it looks like he's just like really, really muscular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's super ripped and has no skin.
Yeah.
But, okay,
Great day.
I think anyone that's watched that episode cries at the end of it. Did Eddie? Did be honest? Did you like get? You didn't have to like flat out like
you
ugly
well up?
cry.
No, I mean, I'm
But
not
you
gonna
just
deny that
getting-
I cry in anime a lot. So.
Yeah,
That's true.
No,
I
I
am
do too.
a large man that cries in like One Piece and crap. But
I want that on a
I-
t-shirt. I'm a large man that cries in One Piece and crap.
I'm a gigantic homosexual watching anime. No, I didn't really cry. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, but I didn't.
Really,
It wasn't
All
a
right.
teary eye.
Oh,
I don't know. I
make
guess if
that
it was
t-shirt
it was
now.
like right after a lot of action. So I guess the adrenaline or the excitement was still there.
Okay.
Whereas most
That's fair.
things have to be like build up emotionally and then a burst at the end of like sobbing or something. It's what usually gets me. Like Nami's cry for help in One Piece, and
Yeah.
like Robin's cry for help. I want to live. God, that got me. I think that was like the most I've ever like sobbed in an anime.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're stopping this
When did I
conversation
cry
and
in
continuing.
I cried when Dacia died in D. Gray Man. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god.
It was like one of the worst build-ups to a death I've ever
Ooh,
seen.
this might be a
in my
good
life.
podcast title. Like,
There you go. Yeah, let's do
We're
that.
gonna
When
sing
I
on
cry,
super
we'll do that.
emotional things.
Anime. When they cry.
When did you cry,
podcast.
Mr. 270-pound man?
Hey, no, that I think that's good. The first time I cried was
Real men
watching
cry.
Pokemon the movie in theaters. I cried.
That makes
during
sense.
That.
You
It
cried when
was-
all the Pokemon cried.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Pikachu's crying.
Oh yeah,
trying to
oh
bring
yeah.
Ash
I
back.
cried. I think that was the first time I cried during an anime.
Oh,
Right.
man.
Oh man. So okay. So the reason why I cried during this fight, because during this fight, there's this boy named Coda, that hates quirks and hates superheroes.
Hates the whole society essentially.
Because his parents were superheroes that
Yeah.
died, that were killed in battle, in action, and Deku, who's like, why are you so sad, bro? You know, like superheroes are good, man.
I love Deku's care for this child. It's so good.
Yeah,
It gets
and so like Deku just took it under his wing to be like, I'm gonna change his mood or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm trying to.
change his
yeah.
outlook on quirked people.
Yeah, and so Coda goes to his hiding spot, and it's like up in
Secret
the
base.
mountains, and only Deku knows where that is.
Right.
he
Yeah,
followed
and so he goes up there like
Fire.
when the Vanguard when the vanguards like start coming, and he ends up running into Muscular there.
Yeah.
And we find out that Muscular is the one that killed Koda's parents.
Yeah.
So, plot.
Troublesome, yep.
Yeah. So Deku is fighting Muscular, and he's losing. He punches him with 100% smash, and it doesn't phase him. It doesn't phase Muscular, and he's like, "Whoa, boy! Whoa, you got a punch. You got some spunk in you.
Some pepper.
I'm sorry, I gotta kill you." And for some reason, Muscular is obsessed with blood. He's like, "Show me your blood." Anyways, so by the end, there's this. The great thing about My Hero Academia is that in all the battles, it deals a lot with character growth and what's going on with characters, and it gets very emotional. And so Deku ends up fighting Muscular, and then he ends up they're having a struggle, Muscular and Deku, where Deku's punching him, but his arm's really busted up, and he's just really beat up. And then Muscular's in this ball of muscles, a shield ball of muscles. And he's like, "I'm gonna bury you!" And Deku's like, "Run, Koda!" And then he starts Deku starts getting smashed into the ground. And then Deku's like, "I'm sorry, Mom, I failed you," or something.
What gets
and then
me
he's
with
like,
Deku...
he's crying, and he's like, "All Might," it's so emotional.
Anything dealing with Deku's mom usually gets me. I'm just like, oh gosh.
And there was a lot of that in this season.
Yeah. And then Koda splashes him with some water, because Koda has some a water quirk.
Yes.
And then it stops Muscular for a moment, and then Deku gets more amped up. He's like, "No, I won't let you hurt Koda," or whatever. He's reinvigorated, and he's like, "I smash times 1,000,000."
Yes. 1,000,000% Detroit smash.
Kaioken times 10.
Yeah. Which the creator said it's not really 1,000,000. He just kind of said that to amp himself up. So it's not really a million times.
That's just what Deku
Detroit
said.
smash, yeah.
Get
And so
himself a going.
as he's saying that, since Koda hated heroes and everything, it starts having a flashback of his aunt talking to him, like, "You know what? That there's going to come a time when you're going to find someone that's going to, become your hero, essentially." And
Risk
then
everything to save you.
Yeah. And so that's what Deku's doing for Koda. And then there's music going on, and then there's a slow pan from his feet up to Deku's broken body. He's standing there, and then Koda's it's like, "He's a hero. My hero."
Yeah.
Oh man. It was great. It was good. It was really good. So yeah, so I would say that's probably the first fight.
So the funny thing about the way the villains go about everything is I don't remember if they planned this or if it was just serendipitous. When they begin their attack, the students are going through this little planned activity test thing where they're running into the dark forest at night in groups of 2 or 3 at a time.
Yeah.
Doing some really spooky drill.
Yeah, they're trying to scare the other teams.
Yes. And it just makes for the perfect cover for the villains to pop in and kill some kids and steal some kids. And it makes for a ridiculously difficult situation. And so all the trainers are everybody, the telepath is trying to tell everybody to come in and get out of the forest and all that nonsense whenever they realize what's going on. But of course, some of the kids are going to take it into their own hands to be heroes and go out and fight, and so we get some really cool fights. My personal favorite is watching Tokoyami absolutely slay the weird Valdo tooth guy. It was
because
so
he's
cool.
He's lost control of his power, of his shadow power.
Gosh,
his shadow gets stronger in the darkness.
Yeah, that's right. So a couple of the kids are actually running from him, and so they just lead him to the tooth guy, and it's so good. Oh, so good. I love that so much. That was one of my favorite things. I also like seeing Tetsu. And
Why do you like him so much? Does he end up like doing some pretty cool stuff? Like
so
later
him
on?
and a couple groups, like they're just really committed to leaving their mark as Class B, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's him and a couple other people from Class B who shut down the gas guy.
Yeah, it is.
And, like, that's a really cool fight.
It's him and like the big fist girl.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they sort of outsmart him, and that was just really cool to see. I like that. I love seeing other characters. I like it that even though Deku is very much the main character and very much is very much a Goku-esque character who's definitely going to come out on top. I love having other characters share in spotlight and being able to develop. Something you mentioned about the fights is that like most fights in this anime and in this series occur to allow us to witness or see evidence of character development. So it shows us that this is Deku getting a hold of his powers and learning where their limits are, and this is Bakugo learning how to use his quirk in a different way. This is Todoroki getting over his hatred of his father and being able to actually use both of his quirks and be okay with that. So like those are the different things. So like most of the fights, even though they are physical fights, we're getting emotional and mental challenges in their heads that we're getting to work through and see, and I really, really enjoyed that. And so like I just liked seeing that from other characters. The fact that the creator can take the time to do that for characters that aren't Deku or Bakugo or Todoroki is awesome to me. I love that. And yeah, it's just, I love an ensemble. I love a big list of characters. And I love it when they're cared for and cared by the creator, given proper time to shine and things like that. So I just really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Eddie, what was your favorite part of this part?
Summer camp.
Yeah, the summer camp.
It's probably the muscular fight.
Yeah. It's really
'Cause
good.
that was like the highlight of that arc. So
It was.
it was really good.
Another I think honorable mention is I anytime Aizawa goes into action, I love seeing it. I love seeing him fight anyone. Eraserhead, for those of you that don't.
Aizawa, that's right. That's his name.
I like constantly refer to him as Aizawa because I think that's how most people say it in the manga, and as I mentioned before,
in the anime, they mention it like that too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like in an anime, you're often hearing it, and occasionally you'll read it. I guess if you're watching subs, I guess it doesn't matter. But like in manga, I have to read everything that happens.
Yeah.
So I'm much more likely to memorize character names
Okay.
than someone watching an anime.
Yeah. So really quick, I just want to say something, and I want to get your take on it, Eddie. I think that the fights themselves, for like a technical standpoint of My Hero Academia, are actually quite dull and kind of boring. Here's why. Because, like in this arc, in this like little in the summer camp, between Deku and Muscular, there's not much that really happens. Like, Deku throws a couple punches, and then Muscular's like, whoa, you're pretty strong, but not strong enough. And then he ends up, like, dodging, like, some punches from Muscular, but then, like, he just comes with one more punch. And that's it. And then in, like, the tournament between Deku and Todoroki, it's like, here's an ice barrage, here's a flick of my finger, here's another ice barrage, here's a flick of the finger. You know, and so it's just like, there's not really much happening in the fight, where like in fights of like in the Shonen exams with like Naruto, between like Rock Lee and the sand dude, I can't think of his name right now. Like is
Gaara, that's his name.
Yeah, like there's so much happening of like Rock Lee just doing all he can to get in there and like hit him.
Right.
And then Rock Lee just kind of goes nuts and then like beats the crap out of him. And so like there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's like crazy. So yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
I'll agree to a point. A lot of the fights are just like one and done kind of things. But there are quite a few times when Deku has to use his head because, you know, he's done something dumb to his arms again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a few times where he has to like technically like examine a battlefield and try to find the best course of action, and that happened multiple times in this season.
Absolutely. I feel
but-
like that's the main crux of most of the fights, is that they're
Yeah.
a little more mental.
Yeah, and I personally think there should be more of that. I agree, because I really do like when Deku really gets technical about it. But
You'll like
at the
some
same
of the
time,
upcoming material.
I do really enjoy when Deku just goes Super Saiyan and punches someone.
yeah, I think everybody.
But
does.
I think there's a pretty okay balance between the two.
Cool.
No, there definitely is. Like, and I completely agree with you on it. It's just something, just a thought I had. Like I said, when comparing like to different like shonen animes, it's just where it's more like My Hero Academia. The fights are more personal, and where like Deku does have to think about like, oh, okay, I only have 2 punches. What can I do? You know, and so he does have to actually think, which is great. Which is something that I think very few shonen animes actually do very well. Is like, it's like, all right, here's your power, and then here's your power. Kind of work it out. So it's not just like, I'm stronger, I'm level 300 and you're only level 200, you know? Like Hunter does that very well. Whereas like, okay, here's your ability,
why
here's your
it does
ability.
that very well?
Why?
Because Yu Yu Hakusho does that very well. And they're from the same person. If y'all haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, you totally should. Because
You guys-
especially you, Eddie, if you like that kind of. I don't
Okay,
remember our
after we're
conversation
done,
about
I'm gonna
this.
go look for like a collection, and I'm gonna watch it.
Well, the
all of
collection
it.
comes out
So-
in July. Like
If you have-
Well, you know
the
what I mean.
latest collectors. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah.
If you have Verve, if you have Verve, it's on Verve.
Gonna look through your telescope for a collection.
You guys should have like a counter tick thing of like how many times Ethan mentions
refers to Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah,
It's
like-
so good. It's such
because
a.
we'd be in like the 100,000s right now.
yeah.
It's great. Like the whole time you were talking about this, I was thinking about some of Yusuke's early fights. It's just, early on, he's given the ability of the spirit gun, which is probably pretty. What's the word?
Common, popularized.
Common.
Yeah,
Generic.
like it's his
Is technique
iconic.
his,
Iconic. There you go.
his,
It's his iconic thing.
signature
Okay.
move.
Yeah,
He's
kinda
given
like the-
he's given that pretty early on, but very early on, his body and energy can only produce 1 shot per day, per 24-hour period. And very early on, he's given he's still given missions to go do and to track down demons and to fight in tournaments and undercover and things of that nature. And so he has to do a lot of thinking and prep, and he really has to think through a lot of the stuff that he does and prepare for it. And I love watching Yusuke figure stuff out. It's the coolest thing.
I'm gonna
Gosh, I
watch
love
it
that.
in Japanese though.
Gosh, that's fine. Whatever. But you'll miss the wonderful voice acting in the original English dub.
Mishi. Yeah, I really want to hear that like 20 times in one episode.
It's great. It's so good.
But yeah, no, a lot of like the anime community does give props to Yu Yu Hakusho for being like the show that kind of does that.
Yes.
To like be the first like shonen type anime to bring in all these tropes and things and how it should be done. So yeah, I'll give Yu Yu Hakusho that, and it is good. I watched like I think when it was first coming out on like. I was either Toonami or Adult Swim. I
So
don't
the
remember.
first run was on Adult Swim. It
Yeah.
ran until the Saint Beasts, and then they cut it
Yeah.
off Adult Swim, edited it, and put it on Toonami.
Yeah, so that's when I stopped. Was when it was when he took it off Adult Swim. Okay, so let's get back to My Hero.
Right. Yeah. This one.
So at the end of this, they end up stealing Bakugo.
Yes, they managed to actually take Bakugo.
Yeah.
Which was their goal. The villains wanted to take Bakugo because for some reason they see in him a villain. They're like, this kid right here.
Because he's so angry all the time.
Yes, absolutely. Because angry Bakugo
And
is
ambitious.
Yes, and ambitious. And they're like, we're
Which
gonna
is
make
like-
him a villain.
Pure villain tropes. Like, to
And
Right.
like their plan to do
There.
this, like the reasoning behind it was like, I guess to sort of like break the morale of UA, but also to like have another ally.
Yeah. Because
their main goal
like,
is to like throw the hero world into chaos. So
that's right.
They that's why they wanted Bakugo, so they could weaken the trust in
they wanted him to be
the
like
hero
a symbol
community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like Bakugo would be a good one because his quirk is very powerful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, he won the
yes,
tournament.
That's why he was their target.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would have been a huge thing if they could like turn him. Oh yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
So they end up taking him, and then
speaking of dull fights,
that ends.
Do you remember the fight between? I'm pretty sure it was Deku. The fight between Deku and the guy that looks like Bones from Yu-Gi-Oh. What's his name? I don't remember his name, but the guy that can control people if you answer them.
Oh, him, yeah.
Was it Deku and him?
Yeah.
That fight.
Nothing.
That fight?
Yeah.
Nothing happens in that fight.
No, yeah. That's another fight. But here's the thing: I really enjoyed that fight.
No,
but
I did
nothing
too.
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
It's another example of like a legitimate.
Well, it was very tense for like no
it's
reason.
a legitimate
Yeah.
fight that was mostly mental.
And there's a theory. Okay, so really quick, I'm really into theories
Give
and
us a
people's
fan theory, sir.
theories about the anime for people who don't know the manga, who are up on the manga. So, like in the anime community, there's lots of theories going around of like, for one, who's the traitor of UA. We'll probably like get into that a little bit later. But also, like right now in the anime, they just worked into the dorms. They all like moved into the dorms because UA built dorms so they could keep the kids safe, safer, and just be more attentive to them. But in the anime, when they're showing kind of like the layout of the dorms and showing like who's in what room. There's in the boys' side of the dorm, there's a room that's empty, and people are like thinking like, oh, who can move in there? And people are thinking that's going to be him, the brainwashing guy, because he proved like the theory is that he proved himself during the festival to where like they'll move him up, and so like that'd be interesting. That'd be fun.
I'd like to see him again. You catch a small glimpse of him again. Not doing really anything really, like he was talking with a teacher or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I've seen.
So, they steal Bakugo, and then the rest of it is basically getting him back.
Yes, the rest of this little arc is the League of Villains now have Bakugo, and what is it? They release a lot of the what are those things? Nomu? Is that what they are?
Yes.
On the city. To cause a lot of havoc with the little monsters running around, and then also I think someone wakes up Bakugo, which was a bad idea, because Bakugo ain't having nothing. I loved Bakugo's little bit of development in this.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's so cool.
It's really good.
When we get to see him be like, nah, I'm not
It's
a
like,
villain.
you guys are dumb.
Yes, you made the worst decision you could have possibly made.
Yeah. So, okay, it's really cool. They wake up Bakugo. The Nomus haven't come in yet.
Right.
But they wake up Bakugo and they're like, yeah, we're planning on making you come over to our side. And then Bakugo was just like laughing. I'm like, really what?
Fun.
No, you guys are stupid.
We have a really good reretirement plan. Good vacation days, lots of them. It's great.
401k.
Like, nah, bruh.
And I really love this part because just All Might is getting pissed, and it is great because you never see him mad, and then he's finally getting mad.
Yeah,
and I love it. It's so good. Cool. So someone else start explain what's happening at this time.
I'm pretty foggy on everything that's going on in this up until the point where someone actually has hands on Bakugo. I don't exactly remember all the details.
Well, after they get back from the camp, they're all pretty beat up and stuff. So everyone's in the hospital.
Right.
Absolutely everyone. And then they all gather and are like, "Man, we gotta save Bakugo." And then some of them are like, "No, we can't do that." And then the others are like, "Yeah, we need to do that." And then You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Some of them
they
do.
form like a small like task force, right? So we got like Ida, Deku. Who else is there?
The creation girl.
Yaoyorozu,
Uh,
Kaminari, I'm sure, and
half and half.
Yeah.
freaking Todoroki. What about the hard guy? What is his name?
Oh yeah.
The rock dude.
The red-haired guy.
Tokuyama? Is that him?
That's
Tokuyami is the bird
Tokuyami
guy.
is the
Right,
shadow guy.
right. It starts with a T though, right?
I thought it's another thing that starts with a K. The comparable guy is Tetsu. He's the from Team B. What is his name? I just read it today. Throw me one of those things.
But yeah, so him, the rock guy, the red-haired rock dude, the friend of
Katsuki?
Bakugo, basically.
It's Katsuki. No, it's not Katsuki.
But yeah, so they
That's
while
Bakugo.
he's
What
looking
am I
up his
talking
name. So the students, they create a little task force to go rescue Bakugo, while at the same time, like the adults, the pro heroes and the teachers, they're also have like a plan to go
Kirishima.
save.
That's what it
Kirishima,
is.
that's right.
Yeah.
Continue.
So the adults, the pro heroes and the teachers, they have a plan to go also save Bakugo.
Right.
But we don't know that.
No, we don't.
They're like, they're dealing with the press and being like, we're sorry, it's not going to happen. This is like a freak accident, and
Yep.
they're going to get him back one way or another. But they don't go into detail. And so we see all the kiddies going and researching where Bakugo is and stuff, because they have a tracker on one of the villains from the forest.
Yes.
And
Oh,
they find
another
out.
super sad thing is what happens to one of the pussycats.
Oh yeah, one of
She-
the camp
she-
counselors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loses her quirk
Yeah, she gets like ridiculously beat.
because All for One finally pops up.
That was a ragdoll, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think
that's what it was.
That's right.
Gosh, that sucks. Anyways, continue. That's another very sad thing.
Yeah. And the five go and find where the Yomis are the Nomus, and at that point, that's when All for One attacks, and
Yes.
or one. Wait, I did say All for
One for all.
Okay.
No, All for One.
All for One.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
for One.
All for One.
Yeah, I
And,
think that he takes out like Gene guy first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, best
yeah, yeah.
genist.
Like desecrates him.
Yeah, him and like Gang Orca, Tall Woman.
Mountain Lady? Is
Yeah,
that
Mountain
what it's-
Lady. That's her name.
Tall woman.
I-
That's
I-
her new name. A little bit of
Basically,
rebrand.
all these professional, like
Yes.
really strong superheroes get blasted like so
Yes.
easily.
And
by
Genus
this
is
guy.
Genus is like ranked three
Yeah,
or four.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's
like
he's number
he's
four,
real high
number
up.
four hero.
Yeah.
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 So,
And on the other side, All Might is rescuing Bakugo. Like
Yes.
they come in and like blast the door down and like trap all the villains. And at that point, that's when the Nomus show up, because One for All. All for One, Jesus Christ, obliterates them and lets the Nomus teleport where they are.
yes, that's right.
And
We
then
got the
all hell
teleporty
breaks
guy.
loose.
Yeah.
So, go on.
They just cause a big, terrible distraction where a whole bunch of heroes have to chime in and help out to take down all the Nomu, so that which makes it easier for All for One to get his hands, I guess, back on Bakugo and further his plan and yada yada yada. But then we get to see our fun little crew of students like piss themselves at like how incredibly powerful All for One is, because they've managed to like get like right to where Bakugo is,
Yeah.
and they are terrified. And I love the way they actually end up saving Bakugo, and like I hate that he's angry all the time, but I love how angry he is at the fact that he's being rescued. Like, it's so funny to me.
And the thing is, like
He's
he
ang-
accepts it. Like he knows that this is what has to happen. He hates
Yes.
it, but like this is the way it's got to be.
Yeah, because I mean, previous from now, like we've seen him as this ogre like not knowing anything and just blasting his way through everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But whenever it comes down to it, it's obvious that Bakugo knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's very
And
intelligent.
that his heart's in the right place, regardless of
Yes.
anger issues.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, a couple parts I really love about what's going on right before the All Might versus All for One fight. The leader of the League of Villains, is it Togoroki? I keep going back to that.
Those are going to be
Shigaraki.
There you go.
Shigaraki.
Those are a little more obscure.
Where
And he doesn't do so, like in the manga and sometimes in the anime you'll see like little character like character breakdowns of certain characters and things, and he has chosen not to do those for any of the villains because he wants them to remain both mysterious and like dangerous feeling. So he doesn't want to humanize them at all. He has no character breakdowns for any of the villains. So like,
cool.
I'm less aware of their names and abilities. So it's an interesting tactic. I like it a lot. Anyway, continue. This guy.
Between like this fight, we actually get to learn a lot about Shigaraki and kind of like All for One and their relationship and kind of like Shigaraki's motive. When we first meet Shigaraki, he's very like, he's very childish. You know, he's like, you beat me. This is stupid. And he throws tantrums. Mm-hmm. Where here, Bakugo like slaps him or something. And usually around this time, he would throw a tantrum. But now he's like calm and collected. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like, don't. And he tells his team like, don't, no one touch him. Right. It's cool. So we're seeing like character progression for him there. Mm-hmm. But then All Might comes in, and then that's where he kind of gets mad and throws a tantrum. But yeah, and then again we see All Might get mad because All for One teleports Bakugo away to basically where he is. Like he teleports all the Vanguard to where All for One is, where Best Jeanist is, and they're all lying. The heroes are all lying on the ground where he is because he just like took him out.
Beat the crap out of him.
And once he teleports Bakugo, just All Might is mad. He's like, he just yells no, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's over? What's happening?
A very emotional scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And then it's really, I love the dialogue between All for One and All Might when All Might just comes flying in, and then All for One just like stops him, and they're like struggling with each other.
Right.
And then All for One, All Might says like, "You will return my student, All for One." And then All for One responds, "Come to kill me again, All Might." I'm like, oh my gosh.
Very superhero.
But Gran Torino's there too, and like he ends up like using One for All, or All for One uses him as like a shield and stuff, and All Might punches the crap out of him.
Oh.
Yeah,
and like great. that weakens his resolve a little bit because Bakugo's there too, and could end up doing the same thing to Bakugo. So, and Deku and Ko are like realizing this, and they're like, we have to get Bakugo out of there so All Might can fight to his fullest, and that's when he starts analyzing the situation and seeing what kind of things they can do without involving themselves in combat.
Right.
Because they know that they would be absolutely murdered if they did anything.
Yeah.
But, lo and behold, and this goes, by the way, with my theory that Deku has his luck quirk.
Right.
Which I still believe full-heartedly, because this only furthers it. He has the exact quirks he needs to make a safe escape with Bakugo out of there. Yeah. And while that might be just lazy writing, which can be, whatever, they did have two extras that didn't really do anything, which is like the Creation Girl and and who was the other useless one?
It was either Kaminari or Kirishima.
I think it was Kirishima because he didn't do
Hot.
anything.
Yeah.
No, Icy Hot did something, right?
Yeah, he created the ramp.
Yeah.
For them to
Todoroki,
escape
that's
on.
his name, by the way.
half and half. You know, it's Bakugo's nickname for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, Deku hatches the plan to like get Ida on his back and or behind them to push them really fast over an ice platform to shoot toward Bakugo, who they're hoping will realize what they're doing and shoot himself up so he can be rescued.
Yeah.
And at which point, of course, he does. He grasps onto Deku's arm, and they basically fly away from the ramp that Todoroki makes.
Yes.
And at that point, All Might and All For One can duke it out at their fullest potential.
Indeed.
And so at this point, another really cool character development thing happens for me that I really like. So All For One has the ability to also activate other people's quirks. And so he does that to get the Vanguard out of here because he's like, all right, Bakugo's gone, more heroes going to show up. We've lost. We're losing. And so he ends up activating some various persons' different quirks, the warp guy and the magnetism guy, to like, magnetize them all into the warp gate so they can like get out of there. Mm-hmm. And during this time, Shigaraki's like, no, I want to fight with you. I want to be with you. Because like we find out that Shigaraki, when he was a child, All For One found him, and Shigaraki was like crying and like, and then All For One's like, here, let me take care of you. So it's like a father-son type of a thing.
Yeah, it's basically what Deku is to All Might. Like,
Yes.
In a more fatherly way, an involved way, but whereas Deku and All Might are like teacher and student.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the part that I really like is Shigaraki has the hand on his face, which implies to me like the hands is All For One on Shigaraki. Like that's what the hands are. And as he's going into the warp gate, it starts falling, and for me that just symbolizes like All For One, like he's not going to be there anymore to like basically get you out of these situations. Like basically he's on his own, and Shigaraki's like, no, I don't want to do this, and he's like struggling because he wants. And so like I actually got kind of emotional at that part. I'm like, what? Like this is a villain, and I'm getting emotionally connected with what's happening to him. And so I that was like a little part that I really liked that I feel showed a lot of character growth for basically the main villain that's going to be throughout the show.
Yeah.
As far as we know, he's going to be the main villain throughout the rest of the show. And so it was great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I agree. I think that was really cool. Do we want to talk about the fight anymore, or the aftermath thereof, the fallout?
I think we should bring up the fight.
I don't remember much about the fight. That's why I'm asking.
So All For One and All For One and All Might fight, and like I brought up before, not much really happens. Like All For One like combines a lot of quirks together to make a really powerful wind blast thing.
Right. That's right.
And he that's basically his attack throughout the rest of the fight against All Might. Then All Might is fighting and punching, not really fighting, but throws a couple punches. And All Might ends up breaking All For One's mask because he's like on a Darth Vader vent breathing apparatus because he's not completely healed yet. Anyways, and so throughout the fight,
it's like Voldemort. Slowly coming back.
Throughout the fight, All For One ends up wearing All Might down to where he's in his weakened state, like his normal, just human, normal
Joe Schmo,
human,
skinny guy.
Yeah, skinny Might mode.
Skinny Might.
And
sounds like a really good like reduced fat protein milk.
Yeah,
Skinny Might. There we go.
And there's a helicopter in the sky with a news reporter, and so they're catching the fight, what's happening, and they're broadcasting it to all televisions everywhere. And so now everyone knows that All Might has a weakened form,
right?
Type of a deal.
That's the main fallout I was talking about. It's like we all understand now that All Might is not as in a good of condition as we thought he was.
And so basically throughout the fight, All for One is taunting All Might and bringing him down, like destroying him mentally. Just like he also brings up that the reason like Shigaraki is actually the grandson of All Might's tutor, of the person that he got
the predecessor,
One for All from.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What is her name?
Don't recall.
Do you guys remember? No.
Nope.
Anyway, and so All Might had like a freak out, like a little minor freak out, like what?
Mm-hmm.
He's like her grandson,
Right.
And so like he's just so All for One's just like mentally tearing apart All for One and showing the world his weakened state, and so basically he's bringing down the symbol of peace,
Right.
You know, that
Which has been
pillar.
one of their main goals.
And then they do a punch.
Do a punch.
And then All Might's like, I am still the symbol of peace, or whatever, you know, because he like has to win, and so he has a little part where he's not sure. He's like, I don't know, but then he gets like, no, all right, this is it. And then at the very end, he realizes like this is, I'm gonna be using all of One for All, so this is like the last fight I'm gonna have. And then All for One, he's like combining all these powers together to make a really weird, deformed super arm, and then they punch each other.
Yelling United States of Smash.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Which was glorious.
right, that's such a sweet
Like a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's such an amazing like name for an attack. United States of Smash. It's so good.
Because all of his previous attacks were named after states, so
Yeah.
Yep.
it was ridiculously good.
Yeah, so then that happens. And one part that, again, from the villain standpoint, this happens like I think an episode after the fight, where they're taking All for One away, and he's like in a wheelchair because he's all bound up and they won't let him walk or anything. And he says that in the end, he won the fight, even though he lost.
Right.
And they're taking him away to jail to... Yeah,
Because everybody's got to be a sore loser. So.
Yeah, exactly. Because he's like, because I've trained Shigaraki enough, and now he's on his own, and that's what a teacher does. He teaches him enough and lets him figure out his own path, and so I am a better teacher. Haha.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You lost. But yeah. Ugh. So that's where we are thus far, right?
Mm-hmm. Aside from the Deku's mom being
yeah, there's a little bit. Oh,
I
gosh.
don't want you to go back to school because you are hurting yourself and your arms are gonna be useless forever. And
Goodness gracious.
Which is completely valid.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
She brings up very good points, and like I think at this point UA has realized that they're like, wow, our students have been in a whole lot of danger, and we have done very little to fix that. Yeah, so.
But the thing is, like, they're creating dorms at the school, so all the teachers are going like to each parent to get like specific permission or to explain the situation and why it would be good for them to do it. And then everybody's okay with it except Deku's mom, who's like, no. So All Might basically gets on the floor and bows to her and begs her to let to let Deku go to the dorms, and that he won't let anything happen to him, and he will be taking him like directly under his wing and stuff. And Deku's like, oh man, this is what happens when I don't think of my mom because of this stuff. It's like, yeah, well, she holds your future.
Such an
And then-
emotional thing.
which is crazy because what I mentioned when he fought Muscular, he actually did think of his mom.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Mom. Like, he let her down because he thought he was going to die. At least I assume he thought he was going to die.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And so...
But she basically says anywhere but UA, and then Deku's like, okay, that's fine. I want to be a hero, so I'll go to another school. It's fine. And at that point, his mom realizes that he is a hero because he saved the kid from the forest.
Yeah, Conan.
Yeah. And basically, that's when All Might gets on the floor and begs her, and she's like, "Well, you better not put him in danger again, because I'm going to take him out of the school."
Yeah.
She doesn't say that, but she's like, "You better promise me," as moms do. So.
That was a very emotional scene.
And then everything's all right, and they go to the dorms, and everybody has a good time.
And then
the end.
Yeah, life is good.
Yeah, and there's a chapter where they show off everybody's dorm room. Has that happened in the anime?
Yes.
That was the latest episode.
That was the last episode.
I imagine that would have felt very fillerish.
Yeah, it did feel very fillerish.
But it's literally in the
manga.
Now, actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening?
But it like the one thing about the show that it does very well is minus the very first episode of like every season so far. Yeah. Those ones are fillers. But I understand we just had like a crazy emotional ride with what happened at summer camp to rescue Bakugo, to All Might and All for One fighting. Like it was a lot of emotions happening. And so like we need a couple episodes where we're just like, okay, let's just relax. Yeah. We're continuing on with the story because like here's the dorms. We created the dorms, and they created the dorms. We don't know the exact all the reason why, but the principal, he had this idea to create the dorms because there is a traitor in the school because only the students and the teachers knew where the camp was going to be at. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, how did the villain Vanguard know where we were at if only just the teachers and the students knew where they were going to be? Yeah. And so this was his idea to try and keep the kids safe, but also like really kind of I guess like so he can examine a little bit more of like who's talking to who and whatnot. Yeah. Which I really hope we get to see more of his high specs quirk, because I really want something to happen and then him just be like turn around, like spin around in his like swivel chair, drinking tea, saying like, it's going exactly of how I planned it. Yeah. Because we know he's a genius. Yeah. Like he's just super smart. And I just want to see him just turn around in his like principal chair, drinking his tea, saying, I knew this would happen. Yeah, we're all good.
Everything is as it should be.
Right? Another part, if you haven't noticed, I like the little, like, there's a lot of little things that happen in the show that I really love. Another little thing that I really loved, for Bakugo, for him, for me that showed growth, is after they rescued him, all the students are watching like a big TV screen, watching the fight between All Might and All for One. And then after the fight, All Might points to the screen and is like, you're next, or something. He says something to that effect. You're next. You're up. And everyone in the world takes it as like, oh, he's talking to the villains. Yeah, you're next. All Might's awesome. But then Deku's like, it's like, all right, it's my turn now. Mm-hmm. Type of a thing, like it's his turn to work up. But then Bakugo, he notices that, like he sees Deku and his reaction, and he's like, he understands there's something going on. And then when the teachers go visit the students, trying to get the parents okay to have them go to dorms, we visit Bakugo's family.
I love visiting his family.
Right? It's great. But as they leave, Bakugo like stops All Might and is like, hey, so what's the deal between you and Deku? Like, there's something there. And then All Might's like, oh, he's just a student, just like you are. And then he turns away. Like, he's very, I want to say melancholy. He's just very calm and just like
stoic
very
about it.
Yeah. and he's just very quiet, and he's like, okay, I get it. He just like turns around, walks back, and he's like, thanks, All Might.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man. There's like, man, like he's growing as a character. He's not like as loud or like he still is.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But like
he's got that slow growth going.
Yeah,
Slow
and so
burn.
it's great. That's what I really love about the show is like, just the character progression of so many characters. Even like side characters, they get like their own progression, and
I agree, and I feel like
great.
he does such a great job with that. Like just the fact that Deku's not the only character we care about, and we have so many people to choose from, and so many people to follow. Love that. So good. Plays to the strength of this anime.
so
I'm glad that his mom was the angry one and not his dad.
Right.
yeah.
His dad would have been, the obvious choice, but when
Yes.
his mom started like yelling, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yes, it's so good. I love it.
Bakugo's.
And the dad's super calm. He's like, okay, guys, calm down.
And did they cover any of his quirk in the anime?
No.
So
the dad's?
the dad's quirk. So the dad's quirk is more or less where Bakugo gets his quirk from. His dad's quirk is just like a really, really toned down version. Like he's like,
Okay.
wherever his normal sweat comes from, he can like his normal amount of sweat is like a little bit of nitroglycerin.
Okay.
But he can't like, I don't think he has the ability to actually activate it or like to light it like Bakugo does. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really funny. It's just like, I think that happens in like a little character breakdown in the manga. They explained it, but yeah, it's really funny.
A couple theories that I want to just bring up and just touch on them really quick. So there's lots of theories of who the traitor could be in UA. One of them that I find very interesting that I'm like, it could be, is I can't think of his name, but the multi-arm dude.
Oh yeah, the guy who can put his body parts in different parts of his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird thing. He's got such a strange quirk. It's like,
Right?
so weird. Why do they assume that? Is there a reasoning behind it?
There is. Because in the recent episode where they were looking through everyone's room and everything, his room, like, it just had, like, a dresser or something with, I assume, clothes, and then a pile of, like, comforters for his bed. And that's all.
Right.
And Tokoyami, Icy Hot, whatever his name
Todoroki.
is. Todoroki, that's it. Tokoyami's
got a great name.
Yeah, he's the dark bird dude.
Yep.
I'm sorry everyone. But yeah, and so they feel like he could be it because if he is, then if he has to make a quick getaway, he has nothing here.
Right. That's true.
And also by bringing nothing here, he doesn't really. He's not showing anyone like his personality or
right.
like what he enjoys, his likes, dislikes.
Not opening up.
Yeah, so
not
he's not
becoming
opening up.
vulnerable.
And I was like, that would be an interesting,
interesting.
traitor.
Don't know. Huh.
Yeah.
Theories.
Theories are fun. Another theory is that the fire dude, the one that of the Vanguard,
Mm-hmm.
the one who shoots the blue flame,
Scarface.
Yeah, Scarface, is that he's actually Icy Hot's brother, one of his brothers.
Ah.
That's a fan theory that goes
Like
around.
one of Flame Guy's like failed attempts at producing a really strong heir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That he is actually the oldest brother. Like he's the first son
Right.
out of like all the children that he's had with
Interesting.
with him.
I wonder.
And the reason for this theory is because in the manga, this hasn't happened in the show yet, but in the manga, they go to his house, Icy Hot's house.
Icy Hot's house.
And yeah, and they're having like a family reunion, not a family reunion, but just like all the kids are there. Mm-hmm. And the oldest son, the recent oldest son's there, and he's like he starts naming off like the kids, like you, like he doesn't. They start talking about Endeavor, and he's like, yeah, Endeavor's kind of a jerk, like he did this to you, he did this to you, and he did this to, and he starts saying another name, but then like either he stops or he gets cut off. And so it's like, what? Who is that?
Neato.
And he's also the only, like one of one of the two vanguards where we don't know his actual name.
Oh, gotcha. That makes sense.
Because in the anime, when they blast in to save Bakugo, the flying dude, All Might's trainer and Bakugo's
Gran Torino?
not Bakugo. Yeah, Gran Torino. Deku's trainer. He starts naming off like everyone's name, except for his and someone else's. And so I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. We don't know his name.
Huh.
So yeah, that's another little fun fan theory that's going around.
Well, I think fans have a lot to look forward to in this series, because the next little bit has been super, super fun and interesting thus far. And if you, like Eddie mentioned earlier, enjoy seeing Deku get technical and seeing all the fighters get technical about things, that is definitely coming up.
Good.
It's so cool. And we get more characters. There's even more kids with powers, and I'm so happy about that. Like, I cannot express how cool it is. But yeah,
interesting.
For some reason,
for the fans,
I never thought that there was other schools. For some reason, I thought
we were
UA was the only school. But the only thing they say about UA is that it's the most prestigious hero school. And for some reason, I never thought, oh, there's more.
Yes.
I didn't think about
so much more.
I didn't think about that until the whole thing with All Might and Deku's mom and Deku, where Deku was just like, yeah, let's go to another school. It's cool, whatever. I was like, what? There are other schools?
It's so great. It's so cool.
And it just blew my mind.
We're moving towards that, and it's so good. This next round of anime is going to be great, and I look forward to talking about it again in a couple of months or however long it takes to get through this next arc. I'm super excited about that. With that...
It should just be 3 months. Yeah.
Okay, cool. 3 months then. We'll see you soon. But with that, let's move on to what we should be nerding out to. Eddie, you got anything good?
I started Luke Cage.
I did the same.
Me too.
Yeah? How far are you along?
Probably 2 whole episodes, I think.
Oh, I'm up to 7, I think. So
okay, well, yeah,
almost
you super started it.
Yeah. Well, I started it when it came out. So.
Right, that's true. You've been watching it. I had it took a lot of mental convincing for me to get back. Like, I literally started it today. Like, I watched 2 episodes today, and that'll be it.
Well, I'm liking this a lot more than the first series because it doesn't feel as heavy-handed as the previous one.
I get that. Some of the things I see just make me so uncomfortable. Like, watching Shades and Mariah interact at all.
Oh no, that I'll agree. Like, that looks uncomfortable
strange.
as hell, and I think that was done in purpose because there's obvious tension there, and it's very awkward. Like, that's
indeed.
I agree with that. Like, and I think that was intentional though, with how awkward it is.
Yes.
But
there's a part in like the first episode, I think it's the first episode, where Luke Cage dabs.
Oh yeah, that was for the
I remember seeing that and being like, why? And then like the guy that's like he's like in front of a camera, and the guy filming is like, yeah, he's like praising his dad, and I'm like, nope, we don't do this anymore, guys.
And I usually don't like this sort of trope, but I do like the interaction between him and Misty. The cop lady.
Yeah, I just don't like Misty.
Yeah.
She gets better. I like her a bit more in this season. So
Good.
I think she gets better because she has problems with she retires, but then she comes back.
Right.
And
because she can't be as annoying when she's retired.
Yeah, and now that she's armless, it's like she's having trouble and. That they have to keep her on the team for PR sake, I guess, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And but she becomes more gray as opposed to white cop.
Really
cop.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
So
that actually
I'm really enjoying her growth.
Cool. That gets me actually to really want to keep watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I guess.
Jesus Christ, Ethan.
Just
keep watching it. Like,
I will. It'll just be slow.
He does. There's a little like Easter egg later on, and
yeah.
you'll pick up on it too because it's hilarious, and it's been mentioned before between us. But
Cool. Good.
It's very good, and you'll realize it whenever you see it. So.
Good. Looking forward to that.
But I'm enjoying it. I think it's really good. Still playing World of Warcraft, as you know.
Yep, as we are very aware.
And that's about it, I think, on my side.
Cool beans. Nick, anything good?
Beans. Is there? So I just started. I'm a little late to. Okay, so the ones that I've been nerding out to are shows that have been out for a while, but I've never watched it, so I started watching Adventure Time.
Righto.
I just started watching that. Every episode is like 10 minutes long, so
cool.
It's super quick.
Eddie, did you watch that?
I watched up to like season 4, then I got bored of it.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna get in on it, but it's good. It's good so far. I'm enjoying it. I'm also watching Steins Gate because Steins Gate 0 is it's coming out. Well, it's out. It's episodic, so like 1 week is a new episode. Anyways, so I've never seen Steins Gate. I hear just raving reviews about it of how it's like messes with your mind and how it's like a crazy good story and everything. And so what that one is about this scientist and his team find out about time travel, but then there's like a society that tries to stop him or something. I don't know. I'm not that far into it.
Right up.
I'm like, I think 5 episodes, and it's like a 24 episode season or series.
I don't know much about it either, but I've heard good things. I remember Scott saying he watched it and enjoyed it. Hi, Scott.
Yeah, I think David did the same. I think David watched it too.
Yeah, so I started watching that. And I started playing a game called Hollow Knight. That game is
yes, you were telling me all this.
Amazing.
Enjoy it?
Yeah, it's really
That's
good.
good.
I love the art style. It's
on the Switch, right?
Yes, yes. You can play it on Steam or on the Switch. It
just
just
came out on the Switch.
Yeah, and it's great. It's so much fun. It's $15.
I heard the biggest point of it was like the music, and I've listened to a few of the tracks, and it's really good. So
yeah, it is amazing. It's very like
cool.
The music really brings you in. It's different for like every area. Every area has its own music, and it really just fits that area. And the art style is amazing. The combat's very solid. Like the gameplay is like it's very responsive and like solid. It's very hard. It's a very hard game. So yeah, it's like a Metroidvania Dark Souls game. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that.
It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah. And
Eddie, tell me what that means.
And those are all really the stuff that I'm nerding out to these days. It's a lot of fun. They're good. I'm enjoying what I'm nerding to.
What about you, Ethan?
I just finished Voltron Season 6 and it was so good.
Whoa, tell us about the villain.
Oh my gosh. I love Lotor so much. Lotor is on my, I'll have to make a list of villains for an episode, I guess, so we can talk about villains that we love. But he's on real high up there on my favorite villains list, right next to Kingpin from Daredevil.
Ooh, he is good. That's one of my favorites too.
It all boils down to motivation. That to me is what makes a good villain. A villain who believes wholeheartedly that they are right and that they are the hero of the story and that they are doing what has to be done and what should be done. Love that in a villain. And,
did you like Thanos, Ethan?
Yeah, Thanos is good. He's a good example of that.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
Lotor. I love Lotor so much. There were points where I literally wanted him to win. And when I was
yeah.
like, or the points where I was like, okay, it was like, okay, if Lotor wins this, I'll be fine. I'll be okay with that. That's
Okay.
perfectly okay. I'd be.
That's some good praise for a villain.
He's so freaking cool. He has such good motivation for what he's doing, and there are points when like. There's so many points where you think he's beaten, or when you think he would do some typical villain thing, but he doesn't, and he does the coolest thing possible in that moment, and he does what you would want a good villain to do, and he's just so good.
Is he present throughout the series, or
No. So at the end of season 2, they drop this bomb, and they're like, the last words said in season 2 are, summon Prince Lotor. And you're like, dang! And you're just like, you're so ready for it. And so they had this space between season 2 to season 3. And then season 3 is when he's introduced. And it's so good. Season 3 is probably... I don't know if I could say it's my favorite season, because season 2 is really good. Season 3 is fantastic. Season 5 is real freaking good. And this season was a really good... This was a really good cap off to everything that we've been building up to. Like, this feels like a real solid midway stop. Like, at the end of it, there was resolution. They got to a point where they were like, all right, we've come this far. We've made very significant sacrifices to get here. And we need to regroup. And so our next season's going to be a regroup. But we reached the end of this Lotor arc for now. Once again, we didn't see him die per se, so in the world of comic books and anime and things of that nature, he's could very well pop up again, and he may. We shall see. But like, gosh, it was fun to watch everything happen. Like, it was so cool. I like him so much. He's good, and especially when in place of the first villain, because the first villain, Zarkon, is really just like evil for evil's sake. You get the feel of, and eventually there's a bit of explanation, but it's not for, you won't find it in the first 2 seasons. So in the first 2 seasons, you just have to rely on the interesting heroes and some of the cool fights and things of that nature to get you through it, and some of the interesting worlds they visit. Because like, you won't get any really interesting villains, but like when Lotor comes in, he steals the show incredibly well. And
is he hot?
he's pretty hot. But yeah,
it's a valid question.
It's a valid question. And
What's
his
team
team,
Lothor?
his team of lovely ladies are pretty hot too.
Who would you ship him with?
Oh my god.
So,
Do you know who he looks like?
I don't know who he looks like.
He looks like Zamasu from Dragon Ball.
Oh.
Oh my
Okay.
god, he looks just like Zamasu.
Okay, that makes sense.
No, look, I'm gonna send you a picture of it.
Do it. But yeah, no, I like that so very much. There's good character development in this. There's been a lot of character development that's worked up to this season. This season is good payoff to a lot of the character development that has happened. Also, we get a couple answers to some really intense questions that I've been having for a very long time, and that a lot of listeners have been having for a very long. Or viewers of the show have been having for a very long time. There's some really good fighting in it, and there's just some really good moments of emotional impact, I feel, in this season. It's splendid. It's very good, very worth the wait. I was very happy with it, so super excited for the next season, for season 7, to see what we're kind of just I expect a reset and sort of like a reevaluation of where we are, what's going to happen with the characters and roles and things of that nature. So I'm excited for it. But yeah, that's most of what I've been nerding out to. I've been playing some Pokemon Go again. It's become a fairly regular
Still
thing
on
for
that Go train.
me. Yeah, I'm all right with it for now.
The glorified step counter.
Yes.
Yep. It's the better Fitbit.
It has gotten me walking. That is a fact. But yeah, that's good. I think that's about it for me, though. But yeah, thanks again for listening. We appreciate everyone who listens, everyone who likes, comments, subscribes, anyone who drops us a review on iTunes. We certainly appreciate that. That helps us out a lot. But yeah, let us know how you're feeling about My Hero Academia. Who your favorite characters are. What your favorite fights were from the first part of this season. Let us know what you're thinking. Get in touch with us via Twitter at TeamYKPod. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. You can find the pod on iTunes and on Google Play or Google Podcasts. Castbox, Stitcher, Podbean, all those different places you will find us. You can also drop us an email if you feel like, thosenerdsyouknowpod at gmail.com. Let us know if there's anything you'd like us to talk about or review. We appreciate it. Likely we'll be coming back at you next week with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think. You down for that, Eddie?
I just have to watch the first one.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen Ant-Man.
Eddie, why?
Who cares about Ant-Man?
Oh, listeners, ignore him. Just come back. We'll have something great for you next week, even if it's not Ant-Man related. My goodness gracious. Okay.
Watch Avengers 2 or whatever it was.
Mother of pearl.
He's in there.
I'm sorry,
That's all you need of him.
Well,
Also, remember to tweet how long you think it took for Eddie to come to get here.
To get here today.
You know, I should say right now
How
during
late
the
was
whole
Eddie?
thing.
No, Eddie. We're going to get all our listeners to
Ethan
tweet at
took
us.
So
Both
long
of
to
them.
message me on Discord.
Scott and Kaylee. Anyways, but yeah, thanks everybody again. We'll be back at you next week. I promise I'll fix Eddie, and we'll get you some Ant-Man content eventually.
Well, maybe it'll be on the same day, you know, that we plan to, as opposed to, you know, a week later.
Yes, mayhaps. We'll
Maybe.
see. Anyways, that's it. My name's Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Nick.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Bye.
Bye.